My last video was cringe. I hope you understand that that was to dramatize things, to get some sort of eyeballs on this. And now I'm following up with the real meat and potatoes to show you what the fuck is actually going on here. Hi all, how you doing? I want to address a few things in this video because I have noticed a sea change, a change of direction of wind really, and of public opinion towards people who aren't really that wholesome, to say the least. And I think that there is a contingent out there that is being taken for fools really, and I want to elucidate the path for you to show you the kind of people that you're starting to warm up to. I don't release everything that I have on certain people because I can. In fact, I hang back on a lot of things in hopes that I can take the right course of action in reporting. However, there is a serious issue with stuff that happens in real life and stuff that happens in the game, and Star Citizen's mandate to deal with those, it seems. So, bearing that in mind, I've noticed that there are people in the community that have just gained a lot of favour because of the Streisand effect. Again, with Medrunner, we're talking about Greasy Khaleesi here, of them being the victim in this case, the so-called victim. However, it is literally a Streisand effect where Greasy has come out looking pretty plush from this because Medrunner made a massive mistake. But I want to show you the kind of people that Greasy Khaleesi considers friends and continues to stand by and is involved with, and will actually tell you that they're far removed from. However, that's just a bold-faced lie. And the important part here is that something happened almost a year and a half ago, which is quite critical, and Greasy knows about it. I've spoken to Greasy about it, and they still refuse to distance themselves from GrieferNET. And it really speaks to their character, and really the fact that they are unrepentant and not at all sorry about this event that happened, which I have had to stave off of covering because of the person it involves and how it affected them. Now let me explain that a little bit. They were damaged after this, the victim in this situation, and for a long time I've been of the opinion that I can't further that damage. However, today I'm actually going to release this information because I think it's quite necessary, but I'm going to redact it as much as I can to protect the victim in this case, to protect their identity. Now, there will be people who are close to this incident that will know who I'm talking about. However, I would like those that are in the know to basically keep it low key. But I do think you have to stand up to bullies and not shy away from them. So I'm going to treat this as sensitively as I can. I want to go through some screenshots of that I took in, I think it was January 2022, when I infiltrated GrieferNET for the first time, and this may explain to you why actually I've got such a hard-on for them, because I know the types of people they are. In fact, on my very first day, I encountered their behaviour, I encountered their tactics, and I grew to hate them more than I already did. I was never intended to be a member of GrieferNET. I infiltrated them because they attacked an event that was hosted by a streamer friend of mine, and I saw the toll it took on them mentally after a week of organisation for it to basically fall down like a house of cards. So that set me on a road to infiltrate them, me being already a bit of a rapscallion, you might say. Already a person with, well, a streamer with a lot of piracy, boarding people's ships, killing them, being a bit of a troll. I am a troll, really. You might even say a griefer. So using that reputation, which you can see in these screenshots here, how they mention me ahead of the time, you can see that I used that to leverage my way into GrieferNET where I might not have been able to, or where somebody a bit more straight edge may not have been able to. However, I got us in. So bear in mind with these screenshots that are on the screen now, there's 6 of them in this particular instance, and bear in mind that I am actually having a voice call on Discord with Heavy Bob as he's detailing these things with Esfa, because I don't think Esfa could get into the voice call at the time. But there are others in GrieferNET in that call at the time, and Esfa does join later. So we start off with the message at 5:57, which is a cut from the VOD where Esfa has just basically stream sniped with the help of Heavy Bob, a streamer that I am not going to mention here. And the part there that you will see is that Esfa is quite obviously concerned and has basically come around to the fact that he's going to get banned on his second account, on his alt account. That's a second account. His main account was already banned up to 3.17, where it did get unbanned later for reasons that absolutely escape me. But hey, CIG, do your thing. We'll come to that later. So Heavy Bob says here, explains the awful, absolutely awful flying, which is in reference to the streamer taking some medical marijuana. And Heavy Bob goes straight into something I want to point out here, which is the crux of this point. He says, is secondary smoking a crime in the US? Heavy Bob is Australian. Esfa says no. And Heavy Bob says, like smoking with your kid in the room. Now I want to point out, while I was on the call with Heavy Bob here, he was extremely ecstatic that he had what he needed on this streamer. And he was so ecstatic that he was going into an absolute rant about taking their child away. And you'll see the proof for this from these print screens. If I need to release more later, I may. However, there is a discourse here in the Discord. Haha, get it? He says, that's pretty dumb shit though. Cloud Davis says, right, I think hitting a bong on stream is not allowed on Twitch, aka drug use. And Sver says, neither is saying get beeped in the ass. Beep her mother. Heavy Bob says, ready to save your account? Sver, watch this. This is just off the rails. And he's essentially saying that with this video, this clip from the VOD, which they used to do against this particular streamer that they were harassing for months, that it was grounds for them to report the VOD and take it down. And that was the intention, so that that evidence wouldn't be able to be used against them with CIG. Their intention was to take down the VOD very quickly by reporting it. And that is essentially what they went and did here. However, I don't think that particularly worked. So it says, Bob, lol, I'm getting banned 100%. Bob says, watch the vid. So says, I did, and it has nothing to do with my actions. Bob then iterates what I was saying. Get the VOD deleted. Probs would do it because Twitch frowns pretty hard on that. And that's the point. Get the VOD deleted so the evidence in his mind, couldn't be shown to CIG. And then Sver would then be saved because there would be no evidence against him. All that aside, that pales in comparison to what Bob starts to say. Is putting one and one together seems like he mistreats that kid so hard. Now, I watched this and that wasn't the case at all. There wasn't anything to suggest to me that there was any abuse towards this streamer's child. It's just Bob was ecstatic for some reason in having some sort of leverage point where he thought he could get this streamer, get his child taken away from him. Which is really ridiculous. In fact, it's evil, and is where I've been saying that GrieferNET resort to evil tactics. And I hope it explains to you why I have such a raging hard-on for GrieferNET, and have for over a year now. Because this was a flashpoint for me. This was I infiltrated them, and I witnessed more in the 48 hours I was with them than I expected. In fact, there's much more than this. But this is relevant to the topic at hand. Well, maybe we can get Luna and everyone to report everyone that is reporting Sver, which is crasaciously Dustin's and GrieferNet's tactic here. They like to report people more than they get reported. In fact, they are a reporting machine. GrieferNET huddles together and reports people like myself for covering these sorts of things because they are pro-censorship. They are win at all costs, even if it means trying to take your child away from you. That would be a big win in their books, because they're not just any group or org on Star Citizen community. They're griefers, they're evil, they're actually absolutely malignant for the community. Now I say he's such a scumbag in reference to this post that Bob put in, because I'm obviously pretending. I'm undercover. And Heavy Bob goes on to say he should be banned from Twitch for that. I've put in a report and that's disgusting. And then in this part of the call with Bob, he's talking about, he's actually absolutely looking into taking the kid away. And he's looking at passive smoking laws. Very relevant in this point, yeah? What had happened in that clip was the streamer was consuming something for their various requirements, health requirements, and in the background their child passed by, just came in and out the room, just run through, was there for a split second. The thing is that I don't think the streamer even intended that to happen, and when I spoke to them, they were disappointed that it did happen. However, I do think what is extremely evil, and we're not talking about griefing, we're not talking about trolling here, this is just downright evil, is trying to weaponize this to take somebody's child away, to take their to ruin their family. I can't even speak right now because it's just disgusting. And here you can see that Bob has put in a Australian link talking about smoking and passive smoking. He says this is what the Australian government says. Cloud Davis says he was smoking weed, not tobacco. Weed in 48 states is still banned. Ranger, this guy says actually it's still illegal in 38. 12 states have either recreational or medicinally legalized it. The main thing is this was a call going on at the time, and these people are absolutely disgusting, because as you see at the bottom, the US Surgeon General has stated that there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke, and that the California Environmental Protection Agency has declared it a toxic air contaminant. You can see that this is a conversation that was going on. Well, let's have a look. That's 8 o'clock at that point. Where did this start? This started at 6 o'clock. Yeah, you can see that this was a long recording, maybe. There's a lot to go through here. 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I was on a Discord call with GrieferNET, where they were hailing this as a big victory and how they were fantasizing about taking this streamer's child away from them and ruining their family, splitting their family up. So let's move on. Here, have a look at this. At this time, the so-called hero of the hour, the benefactor of the Streisand effect, Greasy Khaleesi, was in this Discord. And not only did they have the hooligan title, they had the Grief Ops title. I only had the hooligan title at this point, as I was involved and we were exploring all sorts of ways I could help them. Infiltration, etc. Helping with stream sniping. We were exploring a lot of things. However, I would never get involved in this. One of the reasons why this may never have happened is because I threatened them. I'm not going to allow it to happen. I'd like to think it couldn't have happened anyway. So in this point, you see that Greasy Khaleesi is here, is present, is involved in this Discord. And Greasy Khaleesi likes to say that they are not a member of GrieferNET, well, or have never been, and they're not in an org. Well, as you can see clearly with the evidence that I'm showing you here, that's a fucking lie. That's a dirty, bold-faced fucking lie. And I fucking hate them because of that. And that's why I have no mercy. Because they're lying to you and they think that they're going to get away with it. No, I don't fucking think so. Greasy Khaleesi's a liar. And with all that stuff considered, and with all this stuff being out since over a year ago, where is Greasy Khaleesi today? Yeah, you fucking guessed it, still in GrieferNET. Wow. You know, in fact, there are still a few people who have stood by GrieferNET throughout this. Despite knowing the types of things that they do, despite knowing the people that they hang around with, despite knowing that there have been cheaters and are cheaters in GrieferNET's Discord that have had and have access to Night City. I've shown that in previous videos. Despite all that, they like to protest and say, hey, no, we're just on here because we are friendly. We're just on here because I don't know what the fucking reasons are, dude. Literally the most dumbest reasons ever. But they're relying on you, the viewer, to not watch my videos. They're relying on you not to know the truth so that they can continue to spin their evil lies and absolutely dodge and jive and juke out of any accountability and responsibility. And I just fucking won't have it. I just won't have it anymore. I think now you can use this video to show your friends the kinds of people you're dealing with here. I don't know what more I have to say on the issue. I think I'm going to leave it there because this is a long enough video as it is, and I'm going to edit this down. And please understand that this is not the easiest thing to do for many reasons. This doesn't just make itself. Real effort actually went in to making you guys aware of this. There are a lot of complications with this. Okay, thank you. Take care, bye-bye.